Welcome back. Frank is an LA director. Today I'm going to talk about how to build your production team. How to build your production team. You know, when I when I studied for my MBA, it was for uh, MBA management and strategy. Management. My MBA was management and strategy, and there's a part of that course that requires you to manage people, right? So manage people's skills, how they perform, how they do at the. In other words, you look at matrix to decide what kind of involvement they should have at their job and how well they deliver on those things, right? So when you're trying to build a production team to make a film, right? That production team must be a well-oiled machine, and they all work together in synergy. There's something about building this team, right, that affects a lot of things. So when you're building a production team, you want to get number one, a producer that's good. Start with the producer, right? Um, when you have a producer, he's the one that sees the full picture of this whole journey. He's the one that sees it. See, has he's the one that has a wide lens, right? Find the producer. I'm assuming you're the director, so find the producer, right? When you find the producer, you have conversations with the producer because he or she will be involved directly with getting the finance for the film, making sure that the finance is managed properly. Second thing they do is they manage the welfare of the film. So when I say the welfare, I mean how people and things are taken care of. Because to manage people is kind of part of human resources. When I did my MBA, we had to study human resource development. In other words, how do you give jobs to people? How do you give people roles within organization? Right? Within every organization, this department hires and fires, but also train people on what their job should be. The HR managers are supposed to train you on what your job is and how you should deliver. And key performance indexes they're going to be judging you on, right? So these are things that you should be doing that they will use to gauge whether you're doing your job correctly, whether you need to have a raise, whether you need to switch departments. It's not supposed to hurt you. It's supposed to find your gifts. In other words, it's supposed to, it helps you, it takes note. Like, for instance, I worked in ICDC college. Now, when I worked there in Hollywood, like 20 years, 100 years ago, I worked there. Um, Master P's son, what's his name? That boy, right? Nice guy. He was supposed to do a commercial for us, right? For the college, Studio College, right? ICDC college. He did the commercial. Now, I came first of all. I was working on in at the Hollywood branch, right? On Hollywood Boulevard. No, no, is it Santa Monica Boulevard? It was somewhere in Hollywood, right? They had a branch. College had a branch. I was teaching business. They hired me straight from Locke High School, where Tariq used to go. So I moved to this college. I was teaching business in school. Yeah, I was teaching math in business. I was hired to be a business administration teacher. And one day, my the head of the school, her name is what's her name? Anna Berger. She owned the company. Russian lady, Russian American, right? Tall, like beautiful lady with blonde hair. She kind of older, like but mature, like Michelle Obama type of vibe. She came into the classroom one day, and my whole board was full of drawings. I not even in class. I went to a break. She came to inspect the class, and my whole board was full of drawings, different graphs, phytographs, this, just different things, you know. And she was like, "Who did all these drawings?" They said it's the business teacher, Frank, the African guy. He's crazy. So my student is telling her that, I'm just like, that's what I do every day. I draw so many things. And when I'm teaching them illustrating, and you know what? She called the campus director and said, "I want this guy in my office tomorrow morning." So I go to her office in the morning. I'm thinking I'm in trouble, right? I pull up, I have my white pants. I pull up, I'm gangster, but I'm still kind of like scared because she's Russian. She's tall. Like, I'm like, these Russian chicks are crazy, right? So I sit in her office, I'm nervous. She said to me, "Frank, Mr. Zanikwe, um, I came to your class yesterday. You were not there. You went somewhere, you went to have coffee or something. But I peeped into your classroom and I saw these drawings on the board. I saw so many drawings on the board. You're teaching statistics, you're doing this, you're doing that. You know what? You're fired. You're not going to teach statistics anymore. Once you come to the corporate office tomorrow, Culver City, you're going to work for me. Number one assignment, design a new logo for my company." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Shit." Anyway, I get to her office. I have a table, I have a brand new Mac. I get all this design equipment. I'm like, I have a first degree in design, so it's a piece of cake for me. I knocked out the logo in like 2 days. Steve Arakoa, the manager, right? He's a Japanese guy. He said to me, "Frank, he said to me, Frank, he calls me a hot shot. He said to me, "Frank, listen, you designed this logo too fast." I said, "The last logo was whack. That's what I do. I designed it. And next thing I know, the logo's in the building. The logo's everywhere. Past every student, they had to print new material, uniforms. Everything changed. Like the booklets, the degree certificates, my logo was everywhere. I was like, intellectual property. Wow, that's how people get rich. This company exploded. Every, just the logo, just the old logo. I can't even remember. It was just a circle with something like ICDC College. I designed a whole brand new like emblem type of pen, burgundy. Man, when they put that logo on those shirts, they looked like it was Harvard. The corporate identity of the company changed. I'm giving you this story because she chose the right company. She chose the right department for me to be working in. She came to inspect me on academics and saw that I was a designer, and she just moved my role. Dude, I had two Mercedes Benz. I had a black one, I had a white one. She paid me so much. Like she was like, "This African guy designed my logo, and I'm making money." Like the student, I'm my students aid. They think I'm a college. I was a 2 year college, but now they're asking me for more degrees. The logo, the identity changed the company. Man, let me tell you something. I met her husband. Her husband came to the campus one day. This guy, when he came to the campus, his Mercedes was so long that it couldn't be parked. It couldn't be parked. They couldn't park it inside the parking structure. He had to park outside. A V8, the fat one. That's what the guy had. So he came, he saw me, we said hi. He doesn't talk, look like some mafia guy. So we didn't smile too much. And they said that's the first time I've been on campus because he wanted to see what team this was. What team? What's the new hot shot? Who's the Nigerian guy that's doing shit at it? So what I'm saying this to you is when you're hiring people, make sure you interview them, talk to them, find out what their talents are. They might be of use to you. You have no idea what's gonna happen. When you're on the set, pay attention to people. As a producer, when you're building a team, make sure you're aware of everybody's gifts. You have no idea who you're missing out on because their gifts could help your film. Their gifts could help move your film to the next level. Don't go in there thinking that you're the best at everything. No, always source to see who's harder than you. When I'm design, I'm a designer. I have a degree in design. But sometimes when I want something designed for me, I go find these young boys. They're crazy. I pay them. I go to Fiverr, pay them. They cut, do whatever they gotta do for me. I have a Mac, I can do it, but I give it to them to do because they simply, not only when I was at Luck High School, right? Mac, Apple sent me to go take an exam. It's called an Apple certified something something. I, they gave me an Apple, sent me. I'll find certificates. There's someone online. They sent me a certificate straight from Apple, right? Saying thank you for doing this course, but I took an exam. It's like how you have um, web certified engineering, webmaster, whatever. I did that for Apple, and so this one Steve Jobs was alive, right? So sometimes you don't know, and because of that certification, um, we received computers from Apple. It wasn't Apple, it was Pixar because Steve owned Pixar. So my design class at high school had computers from Pixar delivered to the campus because I had the license from Pixar to the exam. It's called Apple Certified something something exam, right? Apple Certified, that's what it's called. Anyway, so find the talented people around you, right? And also welfare. When you're building a production team, you need welfare. You need someone that can handle the welfare. What do I mean by that? Are people hungry on the set? Are people safe? Have someone pay their rent? Are people having maybe a melodrama at home? What's going on with the lives of your actors? Get into the psychology and the sociology of people when you're filming. When you're doing the project, be tapped in to what people's lives really are when they get home from the set. They may not have a home to get back to. So oftentimes when I'm making a film, I get into the lives of those I'm working with. You might know them on the surface, cast them in the film, but as time progresses, you realize they have other challenges. Some might have a sick parent, some might have this. Take the crew, go see the parent. I always make sure that my set bleeds into the lives of people I'm working with, so I can be of value to them. Right? There's a time, one of my the guys I work with, his name is Steve Arakawa, nice guy, Japanese guy, and he got sick. Something happened. It wasn't major, but he got sick. Couldn't come to work, and so he affected us so much because we liked him. He was not an asshole, but he was very stern. He gave me this quote once. He said, "Your lack of planning does not contribute to." There was it's a quote that he wrote. He said in his war. He said basically, your lack of planning does not constitute to my own. Does not no. Your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my part. He gave me that quote. Frank is in come here. Went to a meeting with him. I was not ready. I messed up in the meeting. After the meeting, he called me and said, "Frank, read that quote." I read it. It says, "Your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my part." Meaning, if you fuck up, it got shit to do with me. That's interpretation. If you mess up the deal, right, it has nothing to do with me. I taught you well. Okay? So your production team they have to take responsibility. So the welfare of the people on the set is your business. When people are not happy on the set as a producer, it's your business. When an actress breaks up with a boyfriend, she gets slapped, she has a mark on her face, she has to come shoot the scene with you, it's your business to get in. You can just tap some ass on the outside, get ready to do that because your film is going to be completed by any means necessary, right? So the welfare of your director is also part of your focus. People have to be managed during the making of your film. You realize quickly that when you cast a film, things start to go wrong. Once you cast your movie, you're ready to shoot. Every crazy thing has happened. Someone loses a tire, someone gets evicted, that person loses the boyfriend, this happened, that happened, somebody feels the butt cheeks too small. What if all this drama starts to unravel? And then you have to manage all those people. right? So the welfare of the director has to be handled carefully, and the logistics. So when you build a production team, make sure you understand logistics. By that I mean renting a van, putting all the gear in the van, enough seats for the actors to go back and forth from location, because the location matters, right? So therefore, if you're shooting in an expansive space where there might be a dynamic you cannot understand, or there might be things that you may not be able to um, and expect that might happen. Emergencies might happen, so you have to be able to pivot from that. So the logistics of people and the movement of your actors and actresses in and out of the scene matters a lot. How they can get there, how they will get there. Especially if the call time is at 4, you need them to be around the area around 3. So that when it's call time, you can access them, send the ride to them to pick them up. That's why you need to understand your logistical planning. Also, your catering, right? Because when you're producing a film, catering becomes a factor. Because if it's not understood when and where the food is coming from, that's a problem. In fact, when you get to the set, you need to announce when the food is going to be ready. Because people work better when they're full. You know, if people are hungry, nothing gets done. See, let me tell you something. If people are hungry, they're mad at you, they're mad at the film. If you, they don't want to do it. So make sure they're well fed. Not too much. Because if they're overfed, then they'll sleep. So make sure that they'll forget the script. They drink too much wine, they forget the script. So please measure it. Always announce when the food is coming and let it be hot. And always announce when the food is going to stop coming. That way they can focus on the work, right? Because you want to make sure that as you're rolling this machine, that the script supervisors or whoever is paying attention to the script is there. Who knows what we're shooting next. Make sure that the guy that pays attention to what you're shooting next, that should be in your mind all the time. You don't want to get into a position where, hey, what we do next? No, no, no. What we do next should be announced so that people know, hey, this is what we do next, right? That way you keep the train moving, right? And then the management, you have to be able to manage everything. Your production team has to have one person, right, that can manage every person. You're a psychologist, right? When I mean manage a person, manage the mental state of people, right? Check, have the wellness check, right? So the welfare check to check to make sure people are okay on the set. You might think it's not that it's something to ignore, but trust me, these people are working on your film. They invested in your film. You need to find a way to invest in them. Someone needs to be there to take care of them because Steve Jobs said this one time. He said, "They said, why do you buy coffee and donuts for your staff? 3,000 staff members every morning. He orders donuts and coffee." And someone asked him, "Why do you do this every day?" He said, "Because when I stand here and I see all these people leave, right? When I'm here at night and they all leave at 6 p.m. or whatever, I see I see my whole company leave. So when they come back in the morning, I want to serve them because that they're Apple. They're the ones that they're the meaning of this company. Without them, there's no Apple. So therefore, I give them coffee and donuts every morning to show that I love and respect them. That's why Apple makes these computers. That's why we paid $2,000 for this computer, for this phone, right? So because the person that created it invests in the staff. You know, at the Apple Center in Cupertino in California, crazy building, crazy architecture. The Apple campuses. It's one of the best buildings in the world. In the world, it's one of the best buildings in the world. Go look it up. Apple, like the Apple Center, the Apple building in Northern California, beautiful. the hippocampus. Look it up. He has the gym. You can sleep. You can work here. It's an ecosystem. You can stay there all year round. Steve wanted that for his staff. That's how much you gotta love your production team. You gotta give them everything they need to do the job. Give them everything they need to do the job because guess what? It will show the film. When you premiere the film, you see all the hard work on the screen. But if you don't invest in them, you don't cater to them, then your film will be trash. It comes back. That's the worst why you have to spend extra time invest in them, invest in their needs so you can reap the benefits on long play. This is the end of the video. I thank you so much for being here. I'm Franco Zenekwe, LA director. Let's go.